Great. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you. I just want to say to all my friends in Korea that I am sad not to be able to join you in person on Jeju. It's such a beautiful place, and but I'm happy to be with you here today. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we have going on, and one of those is the Next Gen TV logo program. You heard earlier Lynn say that Next Gen TV and ATSC 3.0 are used somewhat interchangeably in the United States. And Next Gen TV is really the consumer facing brand that has been attached to ATSC 3. And the logo that you see here is part of a logo program that is managed by the Consumer Technology Association. And in order to use this logo, you have to meet some conformance requirements. And we're delighted to be partnered with the CTA on helping to develop and implement that. The logo program really has or the ATSC has a conformance implementation team, and they are responsible for identifying areas of importance that where conformance is really something that is needed. Again, this is an entirely new standard, and while it generates pictures and audio, it does so in a much different way than other systems that have been used in ATSC1. And so making sure that the consumer has a good experience is really important, especially as we roll out this new technology. So this logo, once someone has earned the ability to use it, actually shows up on the packaging. And so this is Kelly Williams, and he is moving a LG TV set into our lab at our headquarters at NAB. And you can see the logo there, and that is what a consumer would see when they go to a retailer and they see that Next Gen TV logo. They know that they are buying a set that has ATSC3 capabilities and has met the conformance requirements of this logo program. Now, another thing that we're working on and have been working on for some time are interop events. These are events where we get together professional equipment manufacturers, we get together consumer electronics companies, broadcasters, integrators, and we take all of this stuff that goes into the new standard and we plug it in and we test it to make sure everything is interoperable and works together. These are photos from prior events that we were doing in person. This is one, probably the most picturesque one, but you can see the number of engineers and folks that we're bringing together to work on these interop events. And these would usually take place over the period of, let's say, anywhere from 3 days to a week. But with the pandemic, of course, things have changed. And now we are running virtual interops. So the NAB is supporting this with one of our members, News Press and Gazette, who is serving as the host for this interop. And we have everything available online. And we have a complete system with multiple broadcast chains and lots of different equipment in place. And we, again, like to plug all of this different equipment together in various different configurations and test many different aspects of the standard to make sure everything is working together all the way through to from the very first origination of content to where it is received and used. And so we have folks that are logged in from all across the world to this system to be able to participate in these virtual interops. And it's enabled us to continue to do our development in spite of the pandemic and the travel restrictions and all of the challenges that COVID has brought us. And this is just sort of some analysis of where you can see all of their different places along the way that you can look at the various outputs of the different systems that are being tested and what the results are. So those interops have been a key element to us advancing the technology in the United States and really everywhere. And again, some of that work does feed back into the conformance and implementation testing. So the other area I wanted to talk about is what we're doing in our lab. Now, this is something that we have not had in our past facility, but we built a new headquarters and we have moved in now, and it's in Washington, D.C. And in this space, we have a lab that is flexible use space that we configure for multiple different types of broadcast testing. This is a panoramic I took of the lab when we were doing some work with one of our members on Ultra HD workflows. And so you can see in this instance, I think we have, I think it's 6 different televisions, 4 of which are, no, excuse me, 5 of which are next gen TVs. We had a couple that were showing streaming and cable feeds by comparison. And we were really able to take a look at a lot of different configurations. And so in particular, what we were working on in this example was Ultra HD workflows, and we were comparing SDR, HDR systems, 2160 versus 1080. We were looking at applications, data analytics. We had sets from LG, Samsung, and Sony. Upstairs, we had a different setup where we were doing immersive audio. This is Tariq on our team. He was working to make sure that the interactive applications that we had were operational, and also with some of the data analytics that we were doing from those applications. So this combination of broadcast and broadband is a place of emphasis for us, and a place that a lot of our members are really looking to deploy new services. I'm going to walk you through some of the examples now of some of the different applications. This is one that was developed in concert with CBS based on a segment of their Saturday morning news show. This one is really commerce driven, because you can see here that it's bottom right corner, it's featuring recipes. You've got the different menus you can actually select, and then you can get the ingredients, and then you can actually purchase those right from your remote and have them delivered via Amazon Fresh in this example. So they also have a publishing division, and they sell the cookbooks that are featured in this segment. And so there were various different commercial applications of ways to drive new revenue. And so that's an important application that broadcasters are looking for. This one is one that we did and with Scripps, and they are a large broadcaster who now owns Ion and is also a network, but they have a very strong commitment to local news. And this is an application that they developed that is focused on news literacy. So they're looking at how can they improve the storytelling of their newscasts, and how can they take next gen TV and use it to create a better informed audience and a more engaged audience. So, and then finally, this is an application that's a little different, but is focused on educational equity. This one was developed in concert with Howard University and their Middle School of Mathematics and Science. It is very much like the educational application that DigiCap was talking about earlier, except in this example, it was developed as a next-gen TV application. One of the things that the principal of the middle school said was, you know, certainly not all of her students have broadband access, but she also said what you want to do is take advantage of what they do have. And she said universally what they do have is a television in their household. And so by tying this into something that they do have, she thought this could be a very powerful example. And so this actually uses the application to provide many of the same functionality that was being discussed earlier, but the user interface is all based around a next-gen TV application. So, and finally, I do want to talk about a little bit, as Lynn was discussing, the combination of broadcast and broadband. And another way that we're doing this, and we're going to show this at NAB show. So mark your calendars for April 23rd through 27th. We do hope that you will join us in Las Vegas then. And that's why you see the NAB show logo. We have this live and running in our lab now from a live camera, not playing back from a file, but we're originating a live camera feed that is being encoded. It is a 4K signal, but we are using scalable coding, and we are delivering some of that signal in a base layer over the broadcast, and the rest of that signal is being delivered over a broadband network. And when the receiver gets that live camera feed that has been encoded using the scalable coding, it has a signal that says, hey, there's an enhancement layer available. It goes and gets the broadband connection and puts that together. And one of the reasons this is really important to us is also because of the way that Lynn described we're doing channel sharing. So our base configuration in channel sharing is usually a 1080p signal, but by combining broadcast and broadband in the long term, it could provide a pathway for broadcasters to be able to provide that 4K picture to consumers. So that's something that we'll be showing at NAB show. We hope to see you there. I want to thank you all again for your time, and I look forward to your questions.